So, the Warframe hack situation is a bit feckin' crazy. Now, when we hear the word hack, your brain immediately goes to stolen accounts, leaked passwords, payment details getting compromised, the whole lot. But according to DE, that is not what happened here, thankfully. What bad actors, and I don't mean Steven Seagal, actually managed to do was interfere with squad invite text prompts and make them display customized messages on screen, like the ones you're seeing on screen right now. Not even a single Vor monologue. Absolute shameful from their perspective. Now, hacks in any game are bad. These were creepy and even bloody stupid if I'm being honest, but it's not a case of player accounts being compromised. DE have said no accounts were breached, no data was exposed, and it is still very much safe to keep playing Warframe. And honestly, I get why people or the community panicked when some of these messages made their way onto Reddit or the forums, because some of the messages players got were telling them that their account was actually compromised. So you jump into a session where you log on to maybe crack some relics, you get hit with one of these cursed squad invites, and suddenly you're wondering if you need to change every password that you've ever made, or if someone has seen your not so tasteful fashion choices. So the panic made sense. It looked nasty, and maybe it felt nasty if you got one of these invites, but it was at its core someone hijacking the in-game equivalent of text in a box on screen. Now, DE have moved pretty quickly on it as well. They've warned players not to accept any dodgy invites. They have pushed a fix, and they have confirmed direct game invites would stay disabled until Shadowgrapher launches on Wednesday next week, March the 25th, while they keep investigating. So matchmaking still works, joining through your friends will still work, so Warframe is still playable, but direct invites are basically on hold for a few days, which is awkward for convenience sake and maybe a little bit annoying if you're someone that trades a lot, but it is a hell of a lot better than maybe the alternative, and a lot more of these invites going out and maybe people clicking on the actual link and not knowing what's going to happen from it. Now, one of the messages did mention OpenWF into it, but OpenWF have denied any involvement and said they do not have access to Warframe's live game source code. So that part looks less like useful information and more like someone just maybe trying to misdirect or pour petrol onto OpenWF. Now, in the grand feckin', I guess, scheme of gaming disasters, Warframe's problem is weird and serious, but it is not top shelf catastrophic. If you take most recently Duet Night Abyss, for example, they had an incident where their most recent hotfix wasn't just creepy messages in a UI box. Their official statement said that players had received malicious files downloaded onto PCs after a hotfix from their own client. So they sent out actual malware to all of their players, which is far more serious. Now, the studio described it as a cybersecurity incident, and they tied it to a malicious attack targeting their internal systems and live servers. Now, they later had to push an emergency hotfix to remove those files and roll out extra, I guess, tamper alert systems. And that's way more serious than weird invite text appearing on your screen, where everyone then has to turn around and look at Task Manager to make sure what else is running in the background. Now, you've got another gacha game called Arknights Enfield, which had a completely different kind of mess as well. One that was involving their PayPal payment processing system, which affected roughly 1,800 players and managed to take over $80,000 from their player base over the course of whatever timeline it was. And the largest single affected transaction reportedly took $5,289 from that one person. Now, the dev said they disabled PayPal within hours. They identified the affected transactions the same day, and they issued full refunds to everyone, and they let players keep the items that had been charged to their accounts. Now, that is a whole different flavour of disaster, because once real money starts going missing, then shit has proper hit the fan. Rent money, mortgages, food, bills, all affected because a game system took $80,000 from its players. But like I said, it was all refunded. Now, that's really the point. Warframe has an issue right now. DE are right to treat it seriously, but this is not malware getting shoved onto your PC, and it's not random charges hammering your own player base and stealing, I guess, $80,000. This was a compromised text on screen. Is it bad? Yes. Embarrassing? Absolutely. Bizarre? Completely. But it is still nowhere near the same level as some of the other games are having to deal with right now in terms of actual malicious downloads or players waking up to those surprise transactions and you having to explain it to maybe your other half as to why there's loads of money gone out on a gacha game. Now, honestly, that's what makes this whole thing a little bit weird. Not that it was apocalyptic, but it was kind of stupidly specific. So Warframe has a mess to fix over the next few days, and as far as we know, it's under wraps, and DE more than likely will give us more info over the weekend right up to Shadowgrapher. and keep us informed. But if you did get one of those messages last night and maybe you clicked on the link or you clicked on the invite, make sure and make a support ticket so the DE can, I guess, act on it if anything does go wrong. And if any more of those invites show up over the next few days, again, also make a support ticket. And hopefully DE will have it all sorted before Shadowgraph 4 drops. Now, share your thoughts in the comment section below. Have a great day, have a great weekend, and as always, thanks for watching.